everybody, welcome back to my channel. This week I did a lot of reflecting and realized that I am a little bit behind compared to where I usually am for vegetables in the garden, especially for the summer garden. So I snagged some plants, got them in the ground, and I wanted to take you guys on a tour. So let's get this garden tour started, and you guys can also see an update on the blackberries and the peaches. So let's go. In the bed right behind me, I planted some herbs, flowers, and we just started getting some tomatoes in. So let's get a close-up look. To save us all time, I won't go over the stuff that hasn't changed, but this echinacea, I wasn't expecting to come back, and it did. And this chamomile is really starting to pick up. So I'm gonna come through and get some of the flowers for the chamomile. And as you can see, the mojito mint is still taking over. Lemon balm is coming back, and gladiolus still looks lovely. Rosemary looks great, and the thyme looks amazing. What's new is this. So we've added tomatoes. I transplanted some of the ground cherries, that squash, and that bean that were all self-seeded randomly in the yard. So all of that's come over, and I also got some cucumbers here. We'll extend this tomato cage setup to the cucumbers and down this path, which we'll get to, but I ran out of pieces. So we'll get to that. But we have 2 Cherokee carbons and 2 black princes right here, and I have to go through and prune them. So I'll do that this week. I'll go ahead and prune off anything that is unnecessary, any unnecessary foliage, and I'll prune off any suckers as well. Here's that transplanted squash and that bean that I moved out of the clay. The thyme is looking awesome as usual. And if we go in between here, you'll see tucked in, we have another tomato plant. So we have also a Better Boy tomato plant and another Roma, because the ones that I neglected that I talked about in last week's video are not looking so great, and I didn't want to waste any time. Okay, so the kale I'm going to pull out, and I'm actually going to put another tomato that you'll see over here in between where this kale is. All right, so let's move this direction, okay? So you'll see this way, and you can see how the tomatoes look there. It's going to be really pretty in the summertime. Okay, let's move back over here. Now, this tomato that you see right here is the one that's self-seeded, and it's most likely going to be a cherry. It's most likely going to be a cherry tomato. This evening primrose is still taking over, and I haven't looked up yet what to do with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this direction. We're going from here down this way, and we're going to review this bed right here. Okay, so let's get up and close. Here's the echinacea, and they're starting to bloom beautifully. You can see that there's so many soon to be blooms, so we'll be using this probably for herbal medicine and for flowers too. And the sage is tucked in here. You can see, mixed in with the bachelor's buttons, you'll see all of the sage. The fennel looks lovely, and carrots and parsley and cilantro, which we'll get to. So more carrots here, so pretty. And let's go ahead and walk this direction. So we've just walked over here, and now we're gonna go this direction. Okay, so that's a sun gold that I will be pruning. We have some carrots that are just randomly in here. We have some peppers in here too, but to be honest, a lot of these plants look a little sad. These are the ones that I neglected, so they're taking some time trying to bounce back. So I'll keep you guys posted on this, but this is the reason why we bought those other peppers over there, because we cannot go without peppers. That's just a no-no. If I move to this side here, we have more of the carrots, and I've been pulling them out The good thing about keeping the carrots in is that it's kind of like our own little ground cover. It's pretty, and we can remove them when we're ready to plant some stuff. So that's what we did. Here we have more carrots. We have the pinks that are still growing, the awkward lavender, and more carrots and coriander. So this was a short that we did this week for all of the coriander seeds that we're going to be harvesting. And here we are to the potatoes that are starting to flower. I don't know if I should cut the flowers off and keep trying to hill them up, or just take what we can get with what we got. So Kennebec potatoes, and I think Yukon Gold. I have to go look at the recording. Last year we got, I think, 20 pounds of potatoes, and we're trying to bet on how many we're going to get this year. Whoever wins has to cook potato dinner. More primrose, and as you can see, we actually put together 2 more beds. We have 1 more to go. We've started filling this one with logs, and the beans have sprouted. Look at the marigolds. They look great. The beans look great, and the watermelon a little slow, but still doing really good. Still alive, and that's what counts. Another bed over here that has to be filled, but that's more growing space for me. All right, so let's go to this side of the garden. All right, so you guys at this point know that this side of the garden is all about the strawberries. So I do see that there are some strawberries. Oh yeah. Ezra is in love with strawberries right now. So there are some strawberries that we're still getting. And I'm thinking about fertilizing these again. You can see the oregano still here. All the oregano and more strawberries. So let's see. Strawberries and carrots. This is more oregano. And I know it seems like I grow a lot of oregano, but the bees really do love oregano. They absolutely love oregano. The flowers, not the herb. All right, here's the other fennel that's growing here. I'll probably use this for fennel seed. And the bee balm. Hello, bee balm. It's so pretty. So I'll come through and we'll snag some of these for a bouquet. Okay, nothing new here except for, I see a strawberry. Comfrey is still going crazy. I'm not quite sure what this is, but I'll look that up before I pull it out. But here are the marigolds. They're looking great. So is the rudbeckia, looking really good. Lemon verbena is starting to bush out, which is great. Same here. Same with the pinks, hydrangeas, and more echinacea. Look at this one. Oh, it's so pretty. I planted this echinacea from seed last year, and this is what they look like now on the second year. So for anyone growing echinacea, you're not going to see it flower on the first year. You're going to see it probably flower on the second year, and this is what it would look like. Looks great. Lily's going great. Cosmo's looking great. Sage is still looking great, and I am going to fry this to see if it tastes any better. Maybe I'll do that today because we have a lot of sage now and more cosmos, so still looking good. Let's go back up down this way. Dahlias look like they're about to start dahliaing, but it looks like there's some bugs. Let me see if I can get closer. There's some bugs on the dahlia. Oh, those are ants. Okay, so the ants are covering the dahlia. Not sure if I should do anything about that. The mullein is really turning into a candelabra. It is just, wow. So tall. Same with this one. Yep, more neglected plants that are trying to bounce back. Just keep them in your prayers. Look at this mullein. So beautiful. All right, so now we're just going back down. Here's some ground cherries that self-seeded and some flower bulbs that are popping out, the one that looks like grass. And here's the very tall bee balm. I think what I love most about this garden is that the plants are a mix of medicine, flowers, and food and flavor. So you can take something like bee balm that can be used medicinally, but it can also be used in your food as an herb and a seasoning. And it can also be used as a tea. And the bees love it too. So it's great all around. Mullein is great medicinally, and it's also wonderful for the bees. Coriander is great for all sorts of other pollinators. They're not just bees that are pollinators. So just keep those things in mind. What kind of multi-use plants, things that are good for you and good for the animals, and just are beautiful, things that you can just overall get satisfaction out of. All right, as you can see here, we have the lemongrass that we planted a video or two ago, and more cilantro. So these are flowers, whereas on this side over here it's a lot of seeds. And I think that will conclude where we are for the garden. So, as you can see based off of this garden tour for the vegetable garden, this is more of an herb garden than a vegetable garden, and that's okay. We're focusing now more on plants and vegetables that we are going to consume large amounts of. So that would be tomatoes, peppers, beans, melons, those types of things. But squash, we don't need 20 squash plants. One or two is fine. One or two cucumber plants are fine. These things produce a lot, and if you grow them, you know what I mean. It can get a little overwhelming. So why not grow more and focus more on the things that we're going to use? And I can enjoy the flowers and the herbs, because herbs are expensive. So we can enjoy all of that stuff here too. Next year we'll expand the vegetable garden and we'll really play around with some vegetables that we like to grow. But this year we're keeping it a little bit more on a smaller scale, and we'll be growing more flowers. As you can see, the oregano is going crazy. So the bees are going to go crazy for this. The flower garden is doing pretty good, except for the fact that the soaker hoses don't get here until tomorrow, and some of the plants have suffered from my lack of consistent hand watering. So the sprinklers have been moved around, but some areas just don't get watered as well. So I hand watered them, and they have been suffering a little bit. But in general, everything's doing well. And because I'm succession seeding, you'll see that some rows are more established than others, and some plants just take a little bit longer. So we're growing sunflowers, zinnias, asters, and some other annuals. But once those start getting more established, we can talk more about those. But I think it's kind of boring since there's really nothing to show. Cherry season is over, guys. It's a sad day. The squirrels and the crows have completely taken all of the cherries. Cherry season has ended. Now it's all about the blackberries. So let's go ahead and take a look. Ezra has absolutely scoured the blackberries and the black raspberries this week. So as you can see, we are starting to get blackberries in. We've been getting a handful every day for about a week now. And eventually I'm going to start weighing these harvests, because we want to track so that we can see how much we are using for storing in the wintertime. So we'll keep you guys posted, but in general, they are delicious and they're so sweet. They taste like grape juice. Yep, so these are all the thornless ones that are transplanted to the other side. Yeah, so this, we didn't have any of this last year. So this is going to definitely be an addition to the pounds that we grew last year. The sun is coming out, so bear with the video. But these are the raspberries, and they're coming in nicely. Yeah, they look really good. And I have been nibbling. I've been nibbling on raspberries. So we've gotten a couple. We've gotten a couple. I'll say maybe 6 or 7 raspberries that we've eaten thus far. That's not an enormous amount to most people. 6 or 7 is probably not an enormous amount, but we've had about 6 or 7. Wind is blowing. Okay, so let's see what we got. Oh, here we go. We got one. Oh, we got another one. So that's 8 and 9 now. The peaches on the peach tree look great, except for some of them don't look so great. So for the people that know more about peaches, if you know what the sap is that's coming out of the peaches or what to do about it, I would love to hear it. We do have a spray that I've tried once, and I'm going to just keep trying again. I just don't know if it's too late in the game, so just let me know. But in general, I mean, look, so pretty. I almost forgot to show you guys the greenhouse plants. So let's go look at the plants in the greenhouse. All right, so we have the sweet potatoes. They're kind of turning purple a little bit. They were looking great, but I don't know if it's maybe because I watered them at a wrong time, or maybe I could have overwatered them. And these tomatoes look amazing. So I did mess up. I usually buy indeterminate varieties of tomatoes, so it didn't even cross my mind when I started pruning. And I realized that this is actually a determinate, Bush Early Girl determinate variety. So I cut off some branches that I shouldn't have, but it's okay. I stopped before I did the same thing to this one over here, which is the patio tomato. But the basil, the tomato, and the marigolds all look great in both pots. The peppers also look good. They're starting to grow out. They were looking a little spindly when I first planted them, but they look great right now. The lemon tree is growing faster than I expected, and more of our thyme and basil and marigolds look good over there. So far so good in the greenhouse. Well, that is a status of my garden and shrubs and trees so far this year. I hope you enjoy. Please like, share, and subscribe if you do. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again. Bye.
Hello. Hello.